Hello everybody, what is up to the third and final part of my Surviving Hyperemesis series. I'm going to try my hardest to fit everything and anything I can possibly remember to the T. Obviously, you know, when I tell these stories, there's so many things that I can't say, not because of I choose not to or because of YouTube's regulations and guidelines, but there's just so much that happened that if I were to tell you guys everything, this would be the longest series because it's a lot. 9 months of a disease is a lot, and I can't possibly tell you every single incident. Yes, by the way, I just looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, that's right, I cut my hair. Hi, I did something wild. I'm crazy. We've all known me. If you know me personally, you know that I make crazy decisions like this all the time, but I'm really in love with it, and it's definitely different, and I'm just loving it. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. If you watched part 2, then you saw how emotional I got. I'm gonna try my hardest to not get emotional in this video, but I can't promise you guys that because this is an emotional thing. It's not something you can refrain tears from. I know a lot of people are probably thinking like, it's been a while, you should be well over it, but to go back into time and relive the moment when I'm telling you guys about it, it sparks the feelings, and it definitely brings me back into that feeling of remembering how the hell that felt. So with that being said, I hope you did watch part 1 and part 2, because if so, not a lot of this is going to make any sense to you guys. Also, I am eating my lunch. I have my drink and my sandwich here, so sorry if some clips are like cut because I take a bite or whatever. I know you guys don't want me to see me eating. This isn't a mukbang story time. So with that being said, let's get into part 3 of this video. Now, if I can remember to the T, I want to say I'm 22-ish weeks pregnant, because I know I find out the sex at 23 weeks. I know my insurance did not approve of genetics testing, so they didn't let me find out early. So I had to wait until later on down the road the baby's big enough where they can see. And you know, to be honest, at some point in my pregnancy, I kind of just forgot about it. I kind of was like bummed out in the beginning when I was told that they weren't going to be able to tell me the sex of my baby. I was really, really sad about it. And then I got into like Googling these wives' tales and trying to figure out if I can learn the sex on my own. It was crazy. But I ended up getting over it. And mind you, like with everything going on, I think figuring out the sex was the very last thing in my head. But I'm 22 weeks pregnant, and I'm going to all these appointments. I'm already set up with my PICC line. I have my home health. I'm pretty much set up so that now I can go on to my life in the rest of my pregnancy, routine, taking care of myself, not having to worry about eating or drinking. You know, like I'm set at this point. Still sick, still 24 nauseated, but because I'm not eating something, I'm not throwing up because there's nothing to throw up. But I'm nauseated almost 24/7. As much as I want to say Zofran stopped the nauseousness, it really didn't. I was still very nauseous, but I pushed forward because I rather be happy knowing that I could feel my baby's kicking, my baby's moving, my baby's gaining weight, I'm gaining weight, I'm not vomiting, and I can somewhat continue normally. I start going out in public. The way I had everything was set up was I had like a backpack, and I would always use wheelchairs and stuff like that at Walmart and stuff. That way I can connect like my bag, hook my bag onto the back of my chair and stuff like that. But going out in public looking the way I did, it was hard because people are very obvious at what they stare at, and I got stared at a lot. And a lot of people would pity me. Like, they would look at me and they'd be like, hi, how are you? Like, and it just was like, I'm still human. Don't treat me like I'm a walking tombstone. Like, I have my grave already laid out for me. That's how it felt. And kids were actually terrified. If you think about it, I'm pale, I'm sick, my hair's knotted, I have this tube going up my nose, I have like all these cords wrapped around me, I have a Zofran pump stuck to me. Like, I look scary. I get it. And kids were terrified of me. There were moments, I remember me and my mom went into Family Dollar because I wanted to get Matthew, I wanted to send Matthew something in the mail because where he was, it was snowing and it was cold. Mind you, he's still on the road. He's driving all around the US by himself in these big trucks, and it's scary. It's very scary. I was always terrified. And I tried not to text him too much because my fear was distracting him. And, sorry, the light is like shaking a lot. It's so weird. My fear that was that I was going to distract him, and I didn't want to, but I wanted to send him things that would keep him warm. I didn't get to though, and I'll say why, but we went to Family Dollar, and we went to the clothing section, because you know some Family Dollars have clothing sections, and so I go to the clothing section and I find like these really comfy PJ pants and long socks and like winter hats, because it's in winter in Florida. They still sell those kind of things because sometimes it gets chilly here. So I was like, Mom, like I want to do a little care package for Matthew. But when I got into Family Dollar, there was a lady with a group of like her little kids, and one of the boys started crying from how scared he was of me, and it kind of broke my heart in a sense. And I was just like, I'm gonna go to the car. And I ended up going to the car, guys. I didn't I felt uncomfortable. I felt like maybe I didn't want to be out in public because people just didn't know how to react around me. And it was annoying. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, fuck them, let them stare, blah, 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 blah. You don't know what it feels like until you're in the person's shoes. You don't know how it feels like to be stared at in that way. So I ended up going into the car. I didn't get back out. And I told myself, well, you know what? I won't go out in public anymore. I'll just start going out to my backyard to get fresh air, to look at the plants, do stuff like that, which I ended up doing. One morning, I'm 23 weeks on this day. That morning, I go to the doctor's office. It was my 23-week ultrasound appointment. And when you're high risk, you have to go every week. So I go to the ultrasound appointment and I'm talking to the lady, and she's like, you know, moving her hand around, and it came to me. I was like, ask her if she can see the sex. And I looked at the lady, I was like, I know that this appointment isn't meant for you to tell me the sex of my baby, but can you see on there if it's a boy or a girl? And she was like, love, you don't know the sex of your baby? And I was like, no. She's like, oh my God, let's find out. And I was so excited because I didn't think she was, I didn't know. I don't know. I kind of just felt like she was going to be like, you know. So she's poking around, and my baby was being stubborn. So stubborn. But I was emotional and I was anxious, and the butterflies were in my stomach because I didn't think that this morning when I woke up I was gonna find out. I didn't think that. I didn't know that. So this was a very exciting, like, instant moment. And there wasn't a lot of these moments in the pregnancy, so I was crying like an idiot. I was crying the whole time that she was looking, and she was like, oh, your baby's being really stubborn, like he or she doesn't want to open the legs at all. She starts like poking really hard at my stomach, and she tells me to get up real quick and lay back down, and then she got me a Coke, and she was just like poking really hard. And it's so funny, when she got me the Coke, I could only take a sip because I was like not wanting to swallow it, and she was like, oh, I forgot you can't. But I still took like a sip or two to see if like the sugar will get the baby like, hey. She was stubborn. She was a stubborn baby. But lo and behold, she moved into a position, and she saw from like under, like her bum. I think I have the pictures. I gotta see if I have the ultrasound, but if I do, I'm gonna insert it here so you guys can see the photo she took of like the official, like, oh, it's a girl. But finally, she was able to see from like under the bum, like she had an under butt view, and she was like, well, there's no balls there, and I don't see anything, so I'm gonna definitely say that's a girl. And I started crying. I was like, oh my god, it's a girl. Like, I was crying, and I could not wait to like get out of there and tell Matthew. Now, I was hiding it from everybody. Nobody knew that I found out the sex. The only person I told was my mom's my stepdad, my mom's boyfriend. That was the only person I told. He was with me, and I couldn't contain it. I had to tell him, but I told him not to say anything. So I called Matthew, and I was like, hey. He was like, hey, babe, how are you? How's the baby? Was everything good? And I was like, everything's great. Like, the baby gained another pound. I gained half a pound, which is great. Like, everything's great. Like, I'm still feeling a little caca today, but I'm pushing through it. I'd rather be nauseous, you know? Like, I was trying to find the positive side to everything. So, I tell him, and I tell him not to tell anybody, and I call Matthew, and he picks up, and like, I'm telling him everything's going great. I'm gaining weight, the baby's gaining weight. Like, I'm still nauseous, but I'm choosing to see the positive side right now. That I'm good. Like, I don't have to worry about throwing up, and I don't have to worry about struggling every day to find a safe food. Because there was none for me. Some women are fortunate to have a safe food, and I was not. I hope I'm saying her name, but Amy Schmutter, you know, the celebrity, the comedian celebrity, the girl with the blonde hair, she had it extremely bad. And then Kate, the Princess Kate or Queen Kate? I don't know. I don't know. She's royalty. She had it too with all her kids. So anyways, I was choosing to see the positive side, and this made me extremely happy. Like, I was very happy at this point. So I'm on the phone, and I'm telling him, like, guess what? He's like, what? I was like, I found out the sex. He's like, you did? And I was like, yes, I did. I said, do you want to know? And he said, yes. And I was like, before I tell you, can you tell me if you think it's a boy or girl? And he said he was a boy. He thought it was a boy. Everyone thought it was a boy. Everybody who saw my belly was like, oh, that's a boy. It's hanging pretty low. That's a boy. Oh, no, or they said it was hanging high. I don't know. The basketball-looking bellies are boys, apparently. So I was like, nope, we're having a little girl. And he was like, we're having a girl? And I was like, yeah. He's like, wow. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to buy a gun. And we're laughing, and I'm so excited, and I start crying, and I'm like, we're just talking, and I'm like, I'm so happy right now. Like, I got to start thinking of names. And yeah, it was a great moment. It was a moment that is one of those moments that I felt normal, you know, like I felt like that was normal, and there's not a lot I can say that ever felt normal. So, we stayed quiet, but Matthew didn't tell me that in a few days he was coming home. So, time gets closer to when he's coming home, and he surprises me, and he tells me like he's on the way back home, and I'm like, yay, but I didn't know he was already home. He was telling me like he was still on the road, but he wasn't. He was back in Florida already. And I get a call from him, and he was like, I think he was like, I'm at the front door. And I'm like, what? He's like, open your front door. And I was like, oh my God, you're lying. I ran to the front door and I opened it. He was here for like a break. And I was so happy, you guys. I was crying. I literally started making him food. Like, immediately I started cooking for him. And he didn't like that because he literally was like, I'm going to eat in the car. I was like, excuse me, eat here? He's like, no, He's like, I don't feel comfortable eating in front of you like that. Like, I feel bad. I was like, Matthew, please, just eat the food. Like, I just want to feel normal right now. Please, like, just cook the, like, just eat the food. So I made him breakfast and stuff like that. And we were talking, and we were like, okay, like, he got his first paycheck, and we were like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to tell everybody that I'm having a girl? And we came up with, like, a few ideas. But the one we did was, what we did was we went, and I think I have a video. I'm going to see if I can find the video so I can insert it here. Hopefully I don't know if I can, guys. If I can, I'm sorry. But I don't know how to insert videos. I got to figure that out. But, basically what we did was we went to the store and we bought Christmas, bags. Because mind you, it's December now, and everybody has their trees up. So we bought Christmas bags, and we bought a whole bunch of girl clothing. We bought one for his mom, one bag for his mom, and one bag for my mom. And we put a whole bunch of baby girl clothes in it. And the lie that we were telling everybody was, oh, you have to open the bag now because Matthew's leaving back on the road tomorrow, and he wants to see you open up his presents because he won't be here for Christmas. So it was a pretty understandable thing. My mom, I love my mom, but she was just like, no, guys. Like, once we gave her the bag, and we were secretly recording his mom and my mom, we were recording them. They didn't know. Or, no, I think Matthew's mom knew she was recording. He was recording. He was like, she said, why are you recording me? He was like, don't worry about it. Just open it. My mom gave us a whole lecture, but and I was like, oh my God, just open the bag. She was like, guys, you're about to have a baby. Why are you buying me gifts? You should be saving your money. And she's like, you should be buying stuff for the baby. And I'm like, oh my God, would you just open the bag, Mom? She's opening it. I think I went to my mom first, I believe. I can't remember. Who did we go first? Or we went to his mom first. I think we went to his mom first because we were next to her already. So it was a bag that looked like a regular Christmas bag. It wasn't pink, it wasn't blue, it wasn't any type of like gender, like obvious bag. It was a Christmas bag. We put a whole bunch of cute baby clothing in there. And I know I have pictures of the clothing, so hopefully I'm going to insert all those pictures. But I put all this cute little clothing, these cute little baby socks, these little shoes, this little ruffle like dress. I put a whole bunch of stuff in the bag, and then I put tissue paper on top, and we give it to her, and we're like, you have to open it now, because Matthew's leaving to his mom. And she was like, okay. Well, she starts opening it, and she starts taking something out, and she was like, wait, you're having a girl. She's like, oh my God, we're having a girl. Like, she was so happy. I was emotional. And Matthew's mom has always done this thing where she says, baby coming, baby coming, baby coming, baby coming. And she started saying that, and it was like the funniest thing ever. But it was like a very exciting moment. My mom, I loved my moms. I did. When we got there, we gave her the bag, she gives us this lecture, and I'm like, Mom, just open the bag, please. And she starts opening it, and then she was like, guys, I don't think this is for me. And then she stops and realizes, she's like, oh my God. She's like, no way, you're having a girl. Like, she's crying, and she starts crying so bad. She's like, you're having a girl, oh my God. Like, she's crying and crying, and she starts hugging us and kissing my forehead and just looking at all the clothes, and she's like so happy. And it was a great moment. Like, I liked it, that gender reveal. I did. It was Christmas. It was like the perfect thing to give them a Christmas bag, pretend Matthew's leaving, that they're getting a gift, and they don't know that they're about to find out they're having a grandbaby, a grandbaby girl, you know. It was a good moment, you guys. And out of everything that was happening in that pregnancy, I think from that moment on, things started feeling better. Like, you know, I was still weak, I was still tired, and I was still nauseous, but there was things that were slightly starting to feel normal, you know, and I never thought I could say that at any point in this pregnancy. So initially Matthew was supposed to actually leave that week, but he actually got presented with a job offer because he actually not exceeded, but he was supposed to gain at least a certain amount of weeks experience to even qualify for a job that pertains to like CDL licenses, and he was out there for that X amount of time that was required. So he was offered a job local, and he took it. And I'm still living with my mom, but now that he's back, we start to have a conversation about me moving back home with him so that I can get comfortable, get the room, you know, like things. Now that we know the sex, we can start slowly getting things settling into the house, making it, you know, baby friendly and stuff like that. But I didn't move just yet. I decided I wanted to stay there until the baby shower, and then after the baby shower I ended up moving. So Matthew, he's back home now, and it feels great. I feel so happy. This is the week of Christmas, and I still have a feeding tube. I'm still, you know, but okay. I, for some reason, thought I was confused because I was sitting here trying to remember, like, what day did I get my feeding tube removed? And now that I remember, it was actually in January. So after January, February, March, April, May, those 4 months, I actually got to eat, guys. So let's just, you know. Okay. So Matthew's back home, and it's starting to feel a little normal. There was a few days, I don't know what it was that changed, but there was a few days throughout the week that my nausea was the worst than ever, and I started throwing up even without eating, but I started throwing up kind of regular again, unfortunately. We couldn't figure out exactly why I was throwing up a little bit more again after it felt like it was coming back to like normal. But I was so fortunate that Matthew was there. He was there, guys, and I was no longer throwing up. I mean, I was alone still because he had to work, but the nights that he came to sleep over all the time at my mom's house, those nights he was at least there to like rub my back, hold my hair. He bathed me, you guys. There was days where I was so weak, he would take my clothes off and bathe me himself. And there's just things about Matthew that I feel lucky. I've seen instances, and I've talked to women who also have hyperemesis, whose men are so rude and disrespectful about it. I could not fathom having that kind of man. While going through that, it would feel miserable. Like, I know some women whose man were like, why isn't the house clean? And you're not going to cook me dinner just because you throw up. And it's stuff like that. And that used to like make me so sickened inside, because I could never think of, like, Matthew would never have talked to me like that. He was super gentle with me. Super gentle. And he ate in his car a lot of the time, which really hurt me. But he was very like, he didn't want to do what everybody else in my life was doing. Everybody was like cooking and eating and bringing food into my room, and it's not that they couldn't, because people are allowed to do that, you know. They're not sick, I am. But that smelling, seeing it made me nauseated, but it also made me hungry, and it made me sad. So he was kind of more like aware of my feelings, which I love that man so much. But yeah, the nights that I threw up, he was there for, and he cleaned me up a lot. And he was not grossed out of anything. There would be times when we just sit there and I'd projectile vomit out of nowhere, and I would get so embarrassed. I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. He wouldn't let me clean it. Like, he would do it, and it felt great to have him back, you guys. And I wasn't pretty at this time. I know to him I'm gorgeous no matter what, but I really wasn't. My hair was still knotted. I still had bad odor. Actually, here's something that I wanted to share. My mouth, I can't remember the name of it. When you throw up for months on end and you're pregnant, your teeth get destroyed. Your baby takes all of the calcium in your body and all the nutrients that your teeth need, and your teeth actually start to rot. Now, it's worse with me because I'm vomiting and all the acid is going into my gums. So now all around my mouth and gums, I had blisters, like bubbles that were huge, and they hurt so badly that my mouth smelled bad all the time. And I was super self-conscious about it. And these are things not a lot of people talk to you about when you have hyperemesis because it's embarrassing, but my mouth was actually destroyed. Like if I opened the roof of my mouth, it was covered in white bubbles. Like it was just nasty to look at. And it was painful, and there's not much the dentist can do because they try their hardest to not work on teeth for women who are pregnant because just like, I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but I don't know if you've heard of prenatal massages. There's only certain things people can do to your body because a lot of things can trigger you to go into labor. And that's a thing with teeth, is that they don't want to mess with that because it can trigger you. And there was nothing I can do, and throwing up made me worse, made me throw up even, brushing my teeth made me throw up even more. So I was at a very weird crossroad. My like hygiene wise, it was not good, you guys. It was actually really disgusting, and it was embarrassing. And I know a lot of people didn't want to come into my room because it had an odor, and I know it had an odor. It had an odor of vomit, piss, and like bad BO. And when I think back on it, it's actually really sad. Because like I said, you lose yourself in this pregnancy. Like when hyperemesis, you lose yourself. You no longer have like a sense of self-care. That goes out the window. So, so, slowly but surely, me and Matthew were like buying things for the baby that week of Christmas. Everything I got a lot of hand-me-downs, especially from Once Upon a Time, and I washed them all, and I was stacking all this stuff in the closet. I mean, my mom and his mom were so excited that they were buying stuff for the baby too, and it was overall like it was still sickening, a sickening time for me, but it was also bittersweet to have Matthew and to know the sex. So there was a few things that kind of really helped shed that light over me through the dark time. And I had Matthew there. My belly was getting big, you guys. I'm gonna show you a picture of myself like at full term. I was freaking huge. Like I was huge, but I like, because I was so small and skinny, people like thought like I was gonna pop at like 6 months. And it felt like, even though I was thick, there was a part of my mind that could still think clearly enough to like plan things out. So I actually decide for Christmas to leave the room, actually clean myself up. I actually washed my hair, and even though I washed it, it was still very oily, and I tried to like straighten it and make it look decent. There was like a lot of knots in the back still, but and I did my makeup on Christmas, and I looked pretty decent. My mom had gotten us gifts. She had gotten like the baby gifts. Matthew came. He wore a nice like little button up. We took pictures, and I honestly love it. I have those for sure, and I'm gonna post those pictures up here. But it was a great Christmas, and I was crying though because I wanted to feel normal for Christmas. And I remember at like midnight I was crying, and I remember I went to lay down with Matthew. Oh no, I remember we opened presents up and stuff like that. It was midnight. We all went to sleep, and that was the night me and Matthew thought we heard a ghost in the house. It was so weird. We literally thought we heard a ghost. But the next day, you know, it's just day by day, everything's going. New Year's, guys. New Year's is approaching. I still have my feeding tube. I remember New Year's night, New Year's Eve, we were talking, and I told Matthew, all I want this new year is for this feeding tube to come out of my nose and for me to eat again. I just want my hyperemesis to go away. That's all I'm asking God. And I literally said, I was like, please God, for New Year's, can I just eat? I didn't know God was literally listening to me that night, because he answered my prayers. We had New Year's Eve. Everyone was there. And you know what's so crazy is that New Year's Eve night, I was feeling hungry. Like hungry. Like I'm craving, and I wasn't gagging from the smell of anything, which was so weird. It was weird. We go to the, it's New Year's. We do the countdown. Yay, everybody hugs, we love, kiss, we get drunk, and everybody leaves. It's about 2 a.m. I'm still not that tired, so me and Matthew go and lay down in the bed. And I start coughing. We're watching a movie, and I'm coughing. And Matthew's like, rub my back. He's like, hey, you alright? I was like, yeah, this is just so dry. Like, the tube is like rubbing against my throat, and it's so dry, and I'm coughing. I was like, you know, my throat is dry because I can't drink water. So I'm coughing my brains out, and the tube starts coming out of my nose, because when you cough, it pushes the tube up. So it's coming out of my nose, and I knew, okay, we're gonna have to go to the hospital now. So I start vomiting, and the whole thing just basically comes out. The whole tube just, and the only thing that's still stuck is like right here. And I don't touch it, and I was like, we have to go to the hospital, like now. We go to the hospital, and something in me told them, just take the tube out, because it was already out, and that means we were gonna have to go through a whole night of them shoving it in, me vomiting until they get it into the intestines all over again. And I was just not down for it at that moment. I was not down for it. And I told her, I just want the tube out. And the girl was like, okay, I understand you want the tube out, but before we do that, I need to make sure that you can eat, because I can't send you home if you can't eat. I can't, I can't send you home without the tube in. You need it. And Matthew's like, are you sure, babe? Like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, I need to try. It's been a little while. I need to try. So he's like, okay. The lady comes into the room, and mind you, the thing's still here. It's like still halfway attached to my nose. And she comes with crackers, cinnamon or the graham crackers, and apple juice. And she was like, eat these, and if you keep it down, we'll take the tube out. I remember being so nervous, and I'm like praying, I'm like, God, this is all I want. Please, this is all I want. I just want to eat again. I just want to eat again. I'm slowly eating this, and then I kind of start devouring it because it tastes so good. And I forgot how it felt to have like liquids go down my throat, and it felt so refreshing, and like the apple juice tasted like heaven. Like I forgot how food tasted almost. And I look at Matthew after I ate it all, and I'm just waiting for that nausea. I'm waiting for the instant, like, I'm waiting. And 5 minutes pass, and I'm like, Matthew, I want more. I want more. And I don't feel like I want to throw it up. He's like, for real? And I was like, yeah, actually, I feel fucking great right now. I feel great. Like, I don't feel nauseous. I want to eat more. 10 minutes later, the lady knocks on the door. She's like, how did it go? And I was like, I didn't throw up. I ate it all, and I did not throw up. And she was like, okay, maybe this is progress. Here's something I should have mentioned before this part. Around the same week I found out the sex of the baby, I had an appointment with my doctor. he introduced a medication to me. Now, it doesn't cure hyperemesis. Nothing cures hyperemesis. They haven't invented that yet. But there was a program, mind you, the high-risk team for hyperemesis, they have an algorithm. And they wanted to introduce me to a medication. Steroids. Not a surprise, it's steroids. He said, okay, here's the thing with steroids. It helps your body when it comes to inflammatory. Your stomach is extremely inflamed from all the vomiting. It also helps stimulate your mind and activeness of it. It also helps with sometimes like infections and stuff like that. You don't have one, he said. But what we've done before, women who came here with hyperemesis and whose stomach was very inflamed, we've gave them steroids. And out of 10, 6 women were able to eat again. And that was after the steroids. And it wasn't like an instant thing. It was like a trial. They had to try it. It was every day for a few days, for like a few weeks. So we're in January now. This was a whole month that I've been on steroids. And I didn't want to say that to you guys because telling people that I'm on so many medications while pregnant, people tend to talk bad about you. They judge you. If it was not for the high-risk team, I would have died. My baby would have died. I wouldn't even made it where we made it. Actually, my last 2 pregnancies didn't make it. And here we are. Like, my baby is full grown in my belly. Like, she's reached the point of if I were to have early labor, premature, she would survive. And I was offered that steroid treatment, and I said yes to it because the statistics and the analysis that they had on this, the proof that they had, and the progress that they had with the other woman was proven that this actually kind of helped them. And it was the steroid program is what they call it. And I said yes to it. So for that whole month of December, I was on steroids. And January came, and I felt better. I felt hungry. And so the lady takes out the tube. And she's like, okay, Mom, now it's all on you now. You need to try your hardest to eat. Water was still my enemy, you guys. Water was still my enemy. So they decided to keep the PICC line in to still provide me with hydration. My body couldn't keep up with it. And I was also having heart palpitations because I was so dehydrated and my body was just so lacking water that my heart just had a lot of palpitations. And it was pretty annoying because every day it felt like my heart was fluttering, and it was so uncomfortable. So they kept the PICC line in. I still had to have IVs until I gave birth. And they took it out, guys, and I could eat again. I ate again. Water was still not my friend, but I could eat again. And I was so happy. Me and Matthew went home. We went to sleep. We got home like at 4 a.m. or close to 5 a.m. We went to sleep. We woke up the next day, and Matthew was like, what do you want to eat? And I was like, pizza. I want pizza. And he was like, right now? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, okay. He bought me a big Brooklyn style Domino's pizza. And he took 1 slice and he was like, this is all you. Like, I don't even want any of that. Just enjoy it. He's like, I enjoy it. Don't worry about anything. Just enjoy that shit. I ate the first slice very slowly. Still scared. It was the most delicious thing. It was so freaking delicious, you guys. I waited, didn't throw up. Ate another one, didn't throw up. I ate 5 slices and threw up none of them. None of them. And I felt so good. Guys, from this point out, I was fucking eating. And it was great. I still couldn't drink water, but it was great. And there were still things that triggered my nausea, like brushing my teeth still triggered my nausea. The smell of chicken triggered my nausea. My own smell triggered my nausea. So it was there was things getting better. And I liked where it was going. So they took the tube out, guys, and literally it's just me on medication, still with my pink line, all the way to March. Now, March was the month of my baby shower, which actually was great. My baby shower went really, really great. I had to, it was one of these things where I was still very extremely tired. I actually did my mom paid for my baby shower, but I literally decorated everything by myself. I was so tired. I still felt very weak, like energy. Like if I got up really fast and I did something, my heart would be like boom, 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 and I could hear my heart in my ears, which how bad, like, and that was 24/7. I always heard my heart in my ears, so I always felt like the hearing was clogged. I could never hear things correctly my whole pregnancy, and that really, really sucked because I always felt like my ears were muffled, and it was just because I was dehydrated. So throughout the baby shower, we did a mermaid theme, and I did it in March. A lot of people wait till like 2 weeks before the due date, and I didn't want to do that because the doctors told me, even though I'm eating, I'm not out of the danger zone yet. Because I'm high risk and because hyperemesis is still something that is not understood, it's still a very curious disease. It's still a lot of research that has yet to have been done. They don't know if it's going to come right back. They said, and a lot of women did have a month or two break and it just came right back. So they said that for me to still be careful, and so I was. And I was always on edge and scared. They're like, oh, what if I wake up tomorrow and I throw up again? What if I wake up the next day and I'm like the exorcist vomiting and I start losing weight and I progress, and what if? And I was just so scared. So I had my baby shower a little earlier than normal because I just wanted to have it knowing I was feeling good rather than have it when I was sick and I knew I didn't want people and I knew I was gonna smell bad and I knew all these things, guys. I had to do it early on when I was feeling good and I was eating. Now, because my hair was so bad, guys, the morning of my baby shower, I went to Ulta and I got like the biggest chop. Like my hair was up to here chop, like shorter than this. It was like, let me see if I can, like, hold on, like right there, up to here, chopped. And they took out all the dead hair, everything that was knotted, bad, they took it all out. And I had my baby shower, and a lot of times throughout the baby shower, I had to go to my room and hook myself up to my machines again because I was feeling like I couldn't breathe and my heart was racing and I was getting really tired. And I was tired by the time, guys, by the time I had my hair cut, got dressed, did my makeup, and people came, I was ready to sit and not do nothing. But I was the host and I still had to get up. I still had to get up and do the games. I still had to give up the prizes, cut the cake, open all the gifts. I had to, like, put on a show. So it was very tiring, but I had a lot of great friends, a lot of people who came. I had my friend Christina, my best friend. I love her so much. She came from Tampa. She even bought pernil for the whole thing. She literally would help me out. And my friend Gabby was literally like by my side the whole time and didn't want me to get up when it was time to open the presents. She would like hand everything to me and she'd be like, no, don't get up, you stay there, I'll hand everything to you. But a lot of times I did have to go to the room for like 15, 20, 30 minutes and get back on my IV because I'd feel so like weak. And I tried to eat there, but I was so nervous. I was getting nauseated and I didn't want to eat. So I took like little nibbles of my cake and little nibbles of like the pernil and the rice. But overall, it was amazing, guys. I got so many things. Layla got so many things. Now, real quick, Layla's original name was supposed to be Aurora. Long reason why I changed it, but it's Layla, and I actually like Layla a lot. It's such a pretty name. And yeah, so the baby shower was great, you guys. Shortly after that, I moved back home with my mom. I had my nurse Amber come there. I had my therapist come there. And everything was set up over there. And I'm still with the PICC line, still doing IV hydration, still doing everything I can. And this happened, like, this lasted all the way throughout the end of my pregnancy, you guys. This was me the whole rest of the time on IVs. I'm glad that I was able to eat again. I had a routine going. Every morning I would wake up, and my go-to breakfast, because it was so delicious, was grapes and white cheese. Grapes and white cheese was my favorite thing to eat every morning. I would lay back on the couch, you know, set up all my IV bags on my mother-in-law's like coffee table, set up my flush systems, had a bag there just in case I threw up, because sometimes, guys, I still randomly did. It wasn't as persistent, but sometimes I really still did throw up. And yeah, I had, you know, all my foods, my snacks. I went to WIC. I did everything I needed, you guys. And then it was just the waiting game. Honestly, the waiting game was just it was long, and it was like that for the rest of the months. It was just appointments, IV, laying back, hydrating, trying to start her room. We did the whole baby registry. We bought stuff from Bye Bye Baby, not by from Toys R Us, Babies R Us before they closed down. And it was just like that for the whole pregnancy, you guys. And I didn't get to do maternity photos. And in a sense, I didn't want to, because I still had to have like this PICC line, and I didn't want to wear a dress and show it. And there was just like, I never got to do a lot of the things that a lot of women get to. And it sucked, because I wanted that whole beautiful, like, glowy, beautiful pregnancy. I wanted that, you know? Anyways, but me and Matthew, we start going on dates. We go out. We're like spending time. We realize, like, oh my God, we're no longer about to be like a duo. We're about to be a trio. Like, it's about to be 3 of us. Like, let's spend as much time together and remember how it feels just to be us 2 before we have a third come in. And we did. We went on dates. I set up the room. I had like the craziest like nesting. I probably redid her stuff 30 million times. And it was, finally, guys, I'm going through all this still. I'm still sick. I'm still trying, but I'm still eating, luckily. And then it comes time where I start having contractions badly. My daughter was supposed to be due originally her due date was April 21st, and she came May 11th. I was past 39 weeks. I made it to like 41 weeks. And so I was literally in labor for, like, here's the thing. My body did not know how to dilate, unfortunately. My body had no idea how to dilate, and that was causing some issues. I was having contractions for the past 3 days. I was in complete labor. My contractions were already at like 4 minutes apart, and my body just would not know how to dilate. So my doctor from the high risk team was like, okay, your body's not dilating, but they're not going to let me admit you until you're at least 3 centimeters. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to scrape your membrane, and I'm going to, you know, work my fingers in there and get you to 3 centimeters. And that's exactly what she did, and it hurt. When you have your membranes scraped, guys, that shit hurt. But she did that, and sure enough, I was 3 centimeters, and she was like, this is the story we're going to tell them. You say you got here, you were 2 centimeters, I scraped your membrane, I came back to the room, you were 3 centimeters, which means you're dilating. But we're also going to induce you to help you out. We go, and I am nervous because it's go time, guys. It's go time. We go home, we get all our bags, we get the bedroom set up. That way when we come, like, it's ready. It's like a 1, 2, 3. We're excited. We get the car seat. We get everything. We're just so excited, guys. It's happening. We get to the hospital. They put me in a wheelchair. I'm having contractions. I'm in the waiting room. I'm like, because like, it's hurting. It's fucking hurting, guys. And they bring me upstairs. I'm in the official labor and delivery waiting room. They had like this beautiful relaxing music on. The lady behind the counter saw that I was struggling. She was like, come on, mom, you gotta breathe. Like, she was trying to help me breathe, and Matthew was rubbing my back, and like, I'm crying because it's go time. We go to the room, my body still would not dilate, and my contractions couldn't be any closer. They are trying their hardest to get my body to dilate. They give me Pitocin to like help my body. And Layla reacted to Pitocin badly. She started stressing out. They were making me do all these exercises, the peanut ball, standing up, laying on my other side. They were trying their hardest. Finally, I got to 8 centimeters. But they told me, they came into the room, they were like, listen, honey, we got a little problem. Your daughter's heart rate is dropping drastically. She's pretty stressed. She's not moving anymore. I think we need to get in there and do a C-section because I don't think it's safe right now for her to come out vaginally. I don't think it's safe. And she's like, and that's just my opinion. We can go ahead and try to push at 10 centimeters. You're almost there. But I just, from what I'm seeing, I don't think we should wait. I really want to get her out of there safe. And her vitals and stuff, they're not looking good. So I was scared, but it was an instant, like, yes, like, anything to save my kid. I was really sad. I started crying. I did not think I was going to have a C-section. I knew this was going to be my only baby. I had signed 2 weeks prior, I signed my papers to get my tubes tied. This is the part I wish I could go back to. I wish I could go back to the day where I signed those papers. I signed them because we went through hell. And they told me it would be like this every time. But not every time will I be fortunate. And now that I'm a mom, I couldn't risk dying in pregnancy, you know, and leaving my daughter behind. So I signed them for her. So I was sad that I was having a C-section. Because at least in this pregnancy, I wanted to experience pushing my baby out. I wanted to experience gaining that strength and just doing that beautiful thing. And I didn't get that. I had to have a C-section. I remember once that happened, everyone comes into the room and they're sanitizing me. They're sanitizing inside my nose. They're making us put nets on. They're getting my body ready. And I did have an epidural, which, by the way, you guys, my epidural experience was amazing and it didn't hurt for me. It's not like that for everybody, but for me, it did not hurt whatsoever. So they come in the room and they inject a complete syringe of epidural to make sure my body's like 100% numb. And that was the weirdest thing ever. It felt like it was just my head floating and there was nothing there. Like I could not tell my hand to move, do anything. And it was the weirdest thing ever. Not my hand, sorry, my lower part of my body. Like I couldn't move my legs or anything. And they start doing like a test. They start like pinching my stomach really hard and poking it really hard. They're like, can you feel that? And I'm like, no, I can't feel any of it. And she was like, okay, well, let's go do this thing. And I start crying and Matthew's like rubbing the back of my hand. And I look at my mom and I'm like, I'm going to have him go with me. And she was like, yeah, no problem. I'll be in the waiting room. Matthew's mom is in the waiting room too. Everybody's waiting. And I'm crying and Matthew's like, work. He's giving me a pep talk. He kisses my forehead and he's like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's okay, babe. I know you're nervous, but it's okay. This is going to be great. And so I'm trying to be positive with him. We go into the room and I'm like hyperventilating. They hook me up to the machines and the lady's like, Mom, like your heart rate's going pretty fast. You okay? I'm like, I'm just like really nervous. And I start crying in there and they're like, hey, it's like everybody in there is trying to make me feel okay. They're like, it's okay, Mama. Like, we got you. It's okay. Well, you know, we're about to meet your baby. And 30 minutes in, he's doing stuff, you know, I can feel tugging, I can feel pressure. And I start to feel sick. And I hear a lot of women can get sick in there because it's a lot of epidural, it's a lot of medication, and they're pushing your organs, and you're feeling like tightening in your chest because everything's being pushed upwards to get your baby out. And all of a sudden I hear the lady say, "Happy birthday, princess," and I hear my baby cry. And hearing your child cry for the first time is the most beautiful thing in the world. If I could have recorded it, guys, I would replay it over and over. I've waited so long for this part. I went through so much for this part. And then they lay her on my chest. And then I passed out. I told them, "Take her off, I'm gonna throw up." I didn't get to look at her. I was gonna vomit on her, so I told them, like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw up, take her off." And as soon as I threw up, I just passed out. I passed out. And the part that breaks my heart is that when I woke up, she was being bottle fed. And I wanted to breastfeed for the first time with her. And I didn't get to. And it was just kind of not the way I initially wanted it to go for my only pregnancy. But she was safe, right? That's all that matters, that she was safe, and that's what I wanted. So even though I cried a little bit, because the whole experience was not what I wanted at all, I was so happy that she was here. And yeah, that was my crazy 9-month pregnancy story summed up in 3 videos. So much more I didn't get to share, but if I shared every single part, guys, it would be forever. But I'm not telling anybody out there to never tie their tubes. I'm not telling you guys don't make this decision that's important for you. I'm telling you, really think hard, because I tied my tubes because of this sickness, and here I am really wanting another, and I can't. I know I shouldn't risk my life again, but when I sit back and realize Layla's my one and only, I get sad. I get really sad inside. Because I wanted to give her a sibling. I had a dream of a family, like a big family. And my dream was cut really short. And I'm hoping this video reaches enough people. I'm hoping this video gets seen at some point by more than just a small amount of people. I'm hoping eventually it reaches more and more, and people can donate to the Her Foundation. The Her Foundation is a foundation that does donate all proceeds to doing research for sicknesses in pregnancy, such as hyperemesis and others. It's so important to me that you guys understand that this sickness can destroy a lot. I mean, regardless, pregnancy is beautiful, but this sickness is like poison in the pregnancy, and it ruins so much. I wish I didn't tie my tubes, but I did it because it's just such a confusing thing to go through, you know. And I wish I could rewind time, or I wish I had $6,000 or $7,000 I can pay to get my tubes untied, but I can't afford that. Because if I did, guys, I would do it in an instant. But yeah. This was my hyperemesis journey story. How I survived it. I hope this sickness opened people's eyes to realize, okay, this isn't normal morning sickness. This is something way worse. This is something that needs more research. It needs more attention. It really does. I hope this was very informative and educational for you guys. I hope there was more understanding than there is judgment. And I just thank you guys for taking your time to listen to this whole video, these whole series. It's been emotional going back into this. It's been a hell of a time recording these videos off camera and on camera. I cry a lot. With that being said, please comment below if you enjoyed hearing this, and hopefully you guys research about this. I will link the website to the Her Foundation in case you want to donate and learn more yourself. To all my HG sisters and all the women who do watch this because they are actually going through this now and kind of want to understand, I am with you. I know what you're going through. It is so hard, but I promise you, you can find deep inside, and it's there. Believe me, I never thought I would find it, but deep inside, there's a fight in you to stay alive. There's that mother instinct that comes out. You will do everything you can to make sure you survive and your baby survives. And I believe in you. You're not alone. My email is in the description box. If you're going through it now and you need a friend, someone to cry to or help, call me or email me and I will give you my number and I will be there for you. It doesn't matter the time, I will be there for you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you all and I thank you all for your support. See you guys in the next video that I'll be posting very soon.